So we all know who is Frederica is. She is Garfield's sister and the maid of the Roswell L. Mathers mansion. What if I tell you we have a couple of theories about Frederica, and it's about the last arc of the ReZero series of the web novel, Arc 11. But before we get into the video, check out my latest ReZero video about the character analysis of Reed Astria. Check it out, and also subscribe to the channel. So let's get into the video. So guys, Frederica is Garfield's sister, and she is supposed to have a tiny appearance, not a big role in Arc 7. We have not seen her yet. That's when Tappei, a couple years ago on Frederica's birthday, and we had a Q&A, and Tappei said that Frederica will have a small, minor role in Arc 7. We have not seen her so far since Arc 7 has began. But she's supposed to have a big major role in Arc 11, and we all know that Arc 11, so far, things can change. We know how Tappei changed from 10 arcs now to 11, and could be possibly 12, and we cannot put a timestamp on Tappei. He can change whatever he wants to, when it wants to end, and how it flows into the story, and change when it's going to end and what arc to end. He's the creator. But right now, as we know, it's Arc 11. And a lot of people was like, why Frederica? Why is Frederica having a major role? And everybody's like, what the F? All this kind of nonsense. But we have a couple of theories of why Frederica could have a major role in Arc 11. So the first theory is Frederica is the final boss. Even though Tappei has not came up with the 5 candidates, I find it very hard to believe that Frederica could be the final boss. I mean, what would be her motive of being the final boss? I just don't see it. And the same thing about Petra, too. I mean, I just do not see Petra or Frederica being the final boss. They have no motive, and she's not mean. I mean, she's very protective of her friends, and she's a great character. I don't see... I mean, her development as a good character, as a good person, a baby face, or whatever you want to call her, she... being a hero or a supporting character of the hero, I don't see her being that kind of character and somehow turn so evil. I mean, they gotta have a motive. I think Frederica did not have no motive of being the final boss. So the second theory is that she probably demonstrates her loyalty to Roswell at some point in the final arc. I think that is most likely. That's probably her big role, is helping Roswell, not Subaru, but Roswell L. Mathers, to accomplish his goal to make Etna become alive. I mean, she has so much loyalty to Roswell because they picked them out of the streets. Her mother, and Garfield when they were kids, and they were abandoned or whatever happened to them. And they gave them a home at the Roswell L. Mathers mansion. She also got taken care of and have a job at the mansion. So she will demonstrate some type of loyalty to Mr. Mathers. That's most likely. Third, she will actually help Subaru defeat Satella or Flugel or whoever final boss, and it'll be through her point of view. So could it be her point of view? This whole arc could be her point of view, seeing what Frederica thinks and sees in her own perspective. I kind of see that in a way, but that would not make no sense unless the story, like the other arcs before Arc 11, actually gives it some background and some sense of why it would be, like seeing it through Frederica's eyes, like the whole Arc 11, like what's actually going down, Subaru versus Satel and the Witches of Sin and all that kind of stuff. So it got to have some background and some sense and give it some meaning throughout the other arcs before we get to the final arc of seeing it through Frederica's eyes. And this theory is pretty interesting here, because the Witches of Sin comes out, right? And Daphne is the owner and the creator of all these mob beasts, these witch beasts, right? You think about it, Garfield and Frederica are half mob beasts, witch beasts, right? Could the Witches of Sin, like Daphne, control Garfield and Frederica and actually will help Subaru at the end or help Satella in the final boss. Either way, those two things could possibly happen, I guess, because they are. Like, Daphne can actually control the mob beast. I can actually see that. I mean, why not? I mean, she is the creator of the mob beast and the witch beast. The Sin Archbishops probably have no power over them. I don't see why the Sin Archbishops have any control over Garfield or Frederica, but they did with the big snake and the rabbit and etc., the big white whale. But Dabney controls all the witch beasts and stuff and have a purpose for them. So I see why this could be a theory of Frederica and Garfield helping the Witches of Sin to help the final boss or to help Subaru. I can see that. So for the final theory, this is the most interesting and probably the most less expected thing to happen in ReZero is Frederica has this rare blood. It has dangers associating with this kind of blood. And remember, and she also could be potentially one of the strongest characters in the ReZero, especially in Emilia camp. And you wonder, this rare blood can actually help her gain those abilities, give her some background, throughout the Arc 8, 9, 10. And so she has a major role in Arc 11. Somehow behind the scenes, she got so strong that she could be possibly the one that take on the final boss and complete the mission and help out, demonstrating her loyalty to Roswell. Somehow get Roswell dreams to come true and somehow beat Volcanica of getting the dragon blood and bring back Ekna and also take on the final boss as well by herself. That could be her role. This could be her major role, but it's just a theory because she could have this rare blood and also demonstrating and helping Petra as well with training and stuff like that. That she could help Roswell get what he wants and also her taking on this major role of being the final boss, beating the final boss. So that's the most unrealistic theory, but it could possibly happen since it is a theory and she could have a major role and she has this special blood that could be dangerous, and also she is training as well, possibly behind the scenes, and somehow appears like she is one of the strongest characters in Emilia camp and get the job done possibly. So who knows? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Let me know about what kind of theories you have about Frederica in Arc 11 and see what major role she will have, since she will have a major role. Also, leave a like in the end of the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with everybody. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.